Welcome, everybody, to the Build a Vibrant Culture podcast. My name is Nicole Greer, and they call me the Vibrant Coach. And I have another amazing, vibrant guest on my show today. Her name is Brenna Fitzsimmons. Let me tell you all about her. She is a dynamic compensation and human resources leader with 18 years of experience driving strategic people initiatives and organizational success. She brings deep expertise in the compensation area. 9+ years she's been figuring out what to pay people. I mean, it's a miracle she's even standing upright. This is great. Okay. All right. She knows all about benefits. And of course, she has this wonderful background of a full spectrum HR person with the proven ability to align talent strategies to business goals. She holds the SPHR, the PHR, and the SHRM, SHRM-SCP. Whew, I'm running out of breath. And CCP certifications, which means she's taken all the tests. She's studied all the stuff. She could run SHRM if she wanted to, along with a Master of Science in Human Resources and Associate Certified Coach from the International Coaching Federation credential. And she's known for a balanced, people-centered, and data-driven approach across employee relations, compensation design, labor relations, benefits administration, and this one, FMLA. That's a thing to understand. And ADA compliance, along with workforce planning and recruitment. And still is passionate about developing people, which is really what it's all about, strengthening organizations and creating meaningful impact through thoughtful HR. I'm so glad you're here, Brenna. Thanks for being on the show.
Yes, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here. So, wow, what a warm welcome you gave me there. Wow, thank you.
Of course. Yeah, we love our HR folks. We're trying to help the HR world get a handle on things. People are thinking, "Oh, you're in HR." We touch everybody. We touch everything. So
Yeah.
we need help, and so that's what we're trying to do at the Build a Vibrant Culture podcast. So the human side of compensation, why great pay systems still need great leaders, right? So first of all, you need a pay. Don't miss that language. Pay system and great leaders. So Brenna, when most people hear the word compensation, they picture spreadsheets, salary surveys, numbers. But after getting to know you, I realized your work is really about people. You wouldn't go out and get a coaching certificate if that wasn't true. So let's start here with the starter question. What does a day in the life of a compensation professional look like? Will you share about your world?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there is a lot of data analysis. So you do have to like math at some point, right? There's that involved, but really what it's about, which is any HR person, it's really about the people and being connected to the people. And it's about connecting the pay to people. And I think a lot of times most of my work is really about communication, right? It's about communicating what it means, what it is, explaining it, coaching the managers on how to have those conversations with their associates, making them feel comfortable. And so it is all about pay systems and structure and a lot of data and numbers, but really it's truly about the people and it's about connecting the people. And a lot of that I think is really about communication because I see that's where things are really successful or not is being able to communicate those things to the associate and then coaching the managers on how to have those conversations with the people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and that's it, right? We can't get this work done at this company, at this organization, if we're not talking to each other. And for whatever reason, people are very scared of that compensation conversation, right? So
Yeah.
don't miss everybody. She's saying you have to have some training for your managers.
Mhm. I totally agree. I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it depends on the person, but some managers either don't feel comfortable with the number side or they just don't like the feeling of having a crucial conversation. So that's uncomfortable or it can be awkward for people. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay. So your career is a little unusual, which HR, everybody's got a different story. Like I kind of
Yeah.
fell into it. I was doing HR stuff and it wasn't even called HR yet. We were called personnel. That's what we were called.
I remember that too.
But I mean, it was like, Nicole, take care of this person. They're new. Get them signed up, is what people used to say to me. I'd be like, okay. But your career is unusual because you spent many years as an HR generalist, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
before you did compensation. So how has that changed your journey because you did kind of your stint as a generalist?
I think it really helps me see the whole picture and how all the pieces connect together is because it's truly about, if you think about it, it's not a tiny little siloed box, right? It merges into everything that we do. our philosophy organizationally on benefits, or it can be how that affects recruitment and being able to retain people for the life of the employment cycle. And
Yes.
I think it also says a lot about the organization and the culture of the organization on how their compensation philosophy is as an organization, because it's going to tell you what they value, right? It's going to tell you kind of who they are in a sense.
That's right. That's right. And being a generalist, it's just what it says. This
Yeah.
needs taken care of. Give it to
Yeah.
Brenna.
Yes. Yeah. It's honestly, it's so fun. I loved working in that space. It was so fun. I got to work at a lot of different types of organizations throughout my career. And so you really learn a lot about business and about how different businesses operate. And so I think
Yes.
for me is just there's always something to learn in each situation. And so yeah, I've enjoyed getting to work in every space, I guess, in HR. But people that do HR as a fellow HR person is you do it because you love the people, right? And I can
That's right.
feel
If
that
you don't love
way.
people, don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she slipped a little something in there that I don't want us to just gloss over. She said, I touch every part of the employee life cycle. So
Yeah.
maybe some of you are like, wait, what? So everything from placing the job ad, what does it say about us as a company? What does it say
Yeah.
about us as an organization? To the actual pick up the phone and call, meet this person, go through the recruiting process, give them an offer. There's
Right.
compensation.
Right.
And when we place a job ad, what are we going to pay this person?
Right. Right.
Right? So compensation is woven into that employee life cycle too. So the generalist touches all that, but really, I see the compensation person. They're in there at promotions and raises and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the annual process. And really, if you think about it too, the retirement. So when someone is at the end, the beginning or the end, or everything in between, it's kind of making sure it's in alignment and how you align the strategy with budgets. And I think a lot of people are feeling that now too, just with the state of the world and where it is right now, as everybody's, I think, feeling that somewhat too.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. All right. You said that compensation, it can be kind of like an emotional topic,
Mhm.
yes? Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So people are scared of it. There's an emotion.
Yeah.
Or people are hopeful they'll get a raise, right? There's all sorts of feels that go with the emotion,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So you said compensation is an emotional topic when we talked before. What do people underestimate just how emotional compensation really is?
Yeah, I think that where I see it as where people don't realize is it's almost like a job title where I see this happens too, and that's in compensation, is they assign their value as a person or who they are to this, like how much I make, how much I got a raise for, what my job title is. And so it becomes, in a sense, it can become part of their identity. And so if something is misaligned or it's not what the person was expecting or they don't
Mm,
understand why things are evolved or why they are, it can feel very personal, right? It can feel like a something that is it does affect them personally as far as from a financial, but I think it's more than that. It's maybe affects them personally, who they feel like they are as a person.
yeah, yeah. Well, there's this thing that we like in this world, and it's like
Yeah.
status,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
Right.
Right.
So, and really, if you went to school in America, because that's
Mhm.
where I went to school, I was always encouraged to be on the honor roll and to get an A. You know
Right.
what I
That's
mean?
right.
So we're all achievement driven in terms
I
of,
totally agree.
or we're brainwashed maybe. But I think it's
Yeah.
good to be an achiever. But
Yeah.
but then along with it, you should be rewarded. So the trophy is the salary, right?
Right.
It's
Exactly.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. Yeah. And so I think, yeah, the emotional part of it is, yeah, because it's personal, right? It's personal to the person, it's personal to who they are, how they live.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. All right. So, what is the biggest misconception that leaders have about compensation? Because don't miss this, everybody. Brenna, the leaders are talking about this is how we're going to run our department.
Yeah.
This is how we're going to run our deal. And then they're like, get Brenna in here. What should we pay this person? What makes sense? Because it's really let's make a deal a little bit. But like,
Yeah.
what are the when you talk to leaders, what is like the thing that they don't get or they don't
I,
understand?
I think so. I'm not saying that paying compensation is important because I know how important it is. However, I think that we underestimate how many other factors that are really truly a motivator for people that are not related to pay or compensation. one of my favorite stats is that the biggest predictor of someone staying in an organization is how good of a manager that they had. And I think
Yes.
that says a lot. It's not about, hey, it's about the whole package, right? It's, do I feel valued? Do I see progression that's available for me? Do I see that the company is making ethical decisions and that it aligns with my values as a person? And so I think that sometimes we overestimate just, I'm not saying that it isn't very important, but it's not the only thing that's important. Because I think sometimes managers, they'll see someone, and the person is like, I'm not happy, but they don't dig into why the person may feel that way. They're like, let's throw money at it, or that's maybe a target, but I don't think it's the only target, right? I don't think it's the only thing that may be going on.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
In fact, I in my business, Brenna, I do
Uh-huh.
recruiting, right? So
Okay.
a lot of my clients, they're like, Nicole, you know us. We have
Mhm.
this position. We need somebody you know will fit because I know
Yeah.
their culture. And a lot of times I'll have people who are making big money,
Yeah.
but like they don't want to work for this kind of corporation
Right.
anymore. They
Right.
want to work for something smaller. They want to go home at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
They want to have a shorter commute. They've already sometimes people have already made a good amount of money. They've
Yeah.
been wise, and now that
Right.
like they're mid career, and they're like, I
I don't
still
want
want
to
to
do this
work.
anymore. Right.
Yeah,
I'm like,
but
I
I
don't
don't
want
want
to
to
do
be a
this
crazy
anymore.
person anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really important. Yeah, so I think you're 100% right, and what you're also talking about, I think, is like some companies have such a great reputation. It's like,
They
oh, if I
do.
could get on with Bank of America, if I could get on
Mhm.
with Google, if I could get on
Right.
with whoever, that would change everything, and I'll
Yeah.
do anything to be
Right.
at that place.
Yeah. And I think some of the companies, if you think about it too, is they may have extensive family programs, or they may have very flexible remote work. And so it's the whole picture, right? And it may be about the values, exactly like what you said there. Is I think we as society, I think I've seen a big shift in that. Is there's a real shift in, does this align with my values as a person? Is this where I want to be? Is this where I
Mhm.
feel I can add the most value?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm working with this company right now, and we're revising their core values, and like a
Oh,
lot,
okay.
and
That's
like
so
a lot.
fun.
Oh, it is. It's the funnest thing to sit around and
Yeah.
chat this stuff up. But their core values were like a lot of companies, like integrity, honesty, which those aren't values; those are traits we should hire for.
Totally.
We should hire people of integrity who are honest. That's what we should do. So we looked through like all the core values, and I'm like, well, I pointed at the president, who's a female, and she's awesome. And I asked the other people, I said, what comes out of her mouth all the time? What's the thing she says all the time? And they're like, get the work done. That's what she says, right? And so it's, oh, well, maybe that's the core value. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if the work is done, you're done. But if the work
Right.
isn't done, keep working. You know, this whole thing about what hours do I work? How many days do I work remote? I don't care. Just get the work done.
Yeah. Refreshing to hear they have a different, because some people, I call it, maybe this is the wrong way to describe it, but it's like the butts and seats mentality. And that's not necessarily the only way in the predictor of success, or if the work's getting done, right?
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And another one was no drugs and no dumb stuff. That's our core value. No drugs and no dumb
That's
stuff.
actually funny. That's
Yeah,
a
like,
little tongue in cheek. That's funny.
but that's the stuff that comes out of our mouths and it's really
Oh,
authentic.
right.
So why would we pick some fancy words when we're just like, this is what we believe? No drugs and no dumb stuff. And then we have a list. Here's the dumb stuff you cannot do, that
That's
kind of thing.
funny.
So, anyways, core values, big deal, right? So we want to work somewhere where there's no drunks and no dumb stuff, and we get paid
That's
a
right.
decent wage. That's good. Okay.
Right.
All right. So here, let's do this. Let's demystify compensation. When you build a compensation structure, career ladders, and market ranges, what are you really trying to accomplish for the organization?
Think that it creates a structure that creates equity across groups, because I think there's a tendency to have some maybe blindness, for instance. I think it really helps having a structure to keep things aligned between departments and their divisions, because a lot of times leaders may not have specifically the directors and the individuals in the particular business areas or programs, they may not have real insight into what the other people in the other groups or divisions doing, but they may be doing same or similar work, meaning they're parallel roles, but they may not see it that way. And so without that structure in place, it's very easy for the roles to be misaligned, right? One director may fight harder for their group than maybe another one, or from a personality standpoint, different things. And it really keeps an even playing field to keep the equity in terms of parallel positions and roles. Are they in the same market range? Are they in similarly placed? And I think that's really important. I think as we talk about career progression, which I mentioned too, is that having a clear career ladder helps the associates, it helps the leaders, it really helps everyone because the person knows where they are, what opportunities are available to them. And if it's not even in their group, I think it helps retention, right? Is meaning if where I'm at in my career ladder, maybe I can move, learn new skills and move to a different area or a different group. And so I think it gives visibility and transparency in terms of where people are. And then I think it also helps with equity, like in equity across an organization and positions.
Yeah. And here's this thing of salary transparency.
Yeah. Yes.
It's coming, people.
It's coming. It is coming.
It is coming.
I think it's a wonderful thing. I mean, I know I'm in Virginia right now, so it just came into place on July 1st. And I think it's going to be a great thing for people because it really lets people are moving away from some of the broadband, right? Because it's such a large range and moving more towards a smaller range to really let people know what's the life cycle position that I could expect the range to be. And I think that it helps equalize pay. And what you'll find is that it may start to close the gender pay gap for people. It may I think that's really the intent, is to keep things equitable and equal and fair.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
and some companies have been doing this for, I mean, like decades. And
Oh,
everybody
yeah.
thinks it's brand spanking new, but it's just,
Oh, no, no, no.
no,
Yeah.
people have been doing it. And here's the thing, people who want to work, want to do a good job. If you say right now you're making $1 an hour, but you could make $1.50 if you learned these competencies, you had these
Yeah.
skills in place, and guess what they'll do? They'll go get those things in place, and then don't miss this, everybody. Then you have a more valuable
Right.
employee,
That's
and then you put that person to work on harder stuff.
Yeah. It's
And,
it's upskilling, right? That
yes,
upskilling your workforce. It gives them, I think it gives them a means to do it and a motivation to do it, right? Like, you
100%.
know that something's there and available to us, you're more likely, I think, to go and gain skills or get more training or kind of push yourself outside of your box a little bit.
And when you were a generalist,
Yeah.
okay, and when I was in the HR office kind of
Yeah.
thing, people would come in and they'd be like, "I want a raise."
Right.
And it's like,
Yeah.
if you have that stuff in place, it's like, "Oh, that's no problem. I'd love to give you a raise. You just need to move yourself from here to there."
Yeah.
You
So
know?
true. I think I
You
would
know?
agree with you.
That's not a hard conversation. Just,
Yeah.
"Oh, you got to do more."
It creates a pathway, right? It creates a
100%.
pathway and transparency to the conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. All right. So let's go to our next question. We hear a lot
Okay.
about, well, we're talking about it, pay transparency.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. What do we need to learn about this pay transparency before, what every leader and manager needs to understand before we start doing this? What do they need to understand?
I think that where I see a lot of people where I would love to see them more knowledgeable is that each organization, just like what you talked about, each organization has a culture, right? And
Yes.
so
Good or
this
bad,
is good
intentional
or
or
bad,
not.
good or bad. But I think that also plays into compensation too. It's the same as every organization has a compensation philosophy, whether it's written on a piece of paper or not, right? They have a
Oh, yeah.
organizational philosophy, like what that is. And managers really would benefit from becoming immersed and confident in what that compensation philosophy is at an organizational level, because without that, they can't really explain or talk to it. Where I see the gap is. And also there's a misconception that the pay philosophy is the same at every organization, just like the culture is different. The culture is different. Therefore, the pay philosophy is also different by each organization. It's not going to be the same in each organization. That's what I would say, is to define it, learn it, understand it, be able to communicate it, because that's what's going to help you be able to talk to the pay transparency, is that without having the background of where the organization is, we'll be able to help people communicate their pay philosophy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I just had a conversation with a leader yesterday, Brenna, and they had this individual and they finally retired.
Oh,
Okay.
oh,
Okay. Okay. Everybody.
I'm getting the backstory already.
So it's, oh my gosh, why didn't somebody coach this senior leader? I mean, I don't
Yeah.
even know what's going on here. But anyway, so this senior leader would give her people the max. She would
Mm.
do all the stuff, but her pay philosophy, and they were letting her do it inside her department, was
Yeah.
different than other leaders. We pay for performance, but
Right.
she was paying to make friends and to keep
Oh,
peace and
yeah.
to
Ooh.
it was as the new guy, he's just, I've got a mess.
Yes.
Yes, you do. So here they're coming because their year is July to June, and so
Yeah.
here it's coming, and he's got to have all these hard conversations with
Mm.
people about, no, this is gonna be based on merit and
Right.
key productivity indicators. They're like,
Right.
what?
Guys, yeah. It's always not. Woo, goodness. Yeah, I think that exactly like what we talked about, the communication thread or loop through again, right? Is that if they had had a conversation with her as a leader and how she should be approaching the subject, it may have changed them having to kind of come in and overhaul, and it can be very upsetting to people, and that's when they usually exit. When we talk about it affecting, some people would likely leave the organization over it when they may have been a very valuable person from a skill perspective, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and so the what we're saying is you probably have pockets
Yeah.
of things that are not quite right. So you're going to have to do an overhaul leadership thing on all this whole thing, I think, too.
Yeah.
Training is going to be absolutely huge. Okay,
Yeah.
so there's all those good things. Now, you're also a coach. And
Yeah.
I got to tell you, Britta, when I go speak at many of the Society of Human Resource Management
Uh-huh.
meetings that I am invited to, and listen, y'all, I'm grateful when I go to these meetings, I almost bet I get on my knees. I literally do. You can ask people. I'm like, would you please go get a coaching certificate? It will change the way you do HR. And even the numbers gals, right?
Yeah.
And guys like Brenna need to
Yeah.
be a bit of a coach. What I love the fact that you're a coach. So tell me this, how has coaching made you a better compensation leader?
It's honestly been transformational. Like,
Don't miss that.
yeah, transformational, I would say, because it's really about the individual, right? The person's experience toward it. What is the person struggling with? What's the leader struggling with? Where's the person at? What's the business challenge? And some of it is about questions, right? Which questions you ask, what information is shared. Exactly. It's all about coaching. It's about the questions, really. It's about what questions you ask and the information and how you are able to address the questions. And that's where the gaps close, right? That's where you close the gap between. I think that's a lot of times when you think about it, that's really what it is. How do we close the gap between where someone thinks they're supposed to be, where they are? That could be an opportunity for them to upskill. That could be maybe a budget constraint of the organization. There's all these factors that are behind it. And without knowing what questions to ask, you'll never have all the information to really either help someone get to where they want to be, or maybe level set in terms of maybe there's a gap between, like, organizationally, what budget they think they have to work with versus really what it is, right? Or there's just there's something
Well,
that,
we could go ask for some money.
I know, right? There's
If
always,
we had a business case for why this
yeah,
guy or gal needs more money.
yeah. And so coaching is, I think, it very much that too, is closing the gap. And I think in compensation, that's the case too, is that there's more than just the initial concern that's brought up, right? There's always usually something behind it that's unseen. And without knowing what questions to ask, you never really get down to the heart of what the concern is to be able to help the person where you need to.
Yeah. And everybody that's listening, you know what this word means, assume,
Yes.
right? Everybody knows what that
Yes.
means. Wink, wink. Okay. And so here's the thing. I think a lot of times, again, compensation is, there's a dialogue. Sometimes I'll tell people this, Brennan, I'll say the most
Yeah.
important conversations about you are
Mhm.
at work or when you're not in the room.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about your promotion, your opportunities, your
Yeah.
future, your money. And so there's a lot of assumptions when they say, let's give her this much money.
Yeah.
There's all these assumptions, but what you're saying is sit down with this human, ask a
Yeah.
lot of questions, make sure you know the whole story.
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Yes. Because it could be they were working for a leader that didn't allow them to use this whole skill set, but they've got it.
Exactly. And you don't know until you talk to the person. I had a recent situation that the person, understandably, it's emotional. And sometimes people need some time to process, right? The person
Absolutely.
was upset over the outcome. They didn't get the raise or the promotion that they were expecting. But the person came back later and with creating that safe space is really, they came back and they said, you know what, thanks for the conversation. I was upset because not because of what happened here, but because when I was in a previous place, I was treated unfairly in terms of how they paid or did pay. So some you don't know necessarily unless you open it, what's behind it.
No, they're having a flashback to the bad
Right.
company.
Exactly. Exactly. You just don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's do this. Okay. I have to tell someone they didn't receive the raise they wanted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. How would you coach the manager to prepare for that conversation?
Yeah. I think that it's honestly, and kind of a lot of what we were already talking about is that you can speak to I think well, let me start off this is coming into the conversation. There needs to be a safe space of empathy, clarity, and confidence, like on the manager to create the space for the person to tell you about how they're feeling and what's going on with the person. And I think it's about open communication. Sometimes there are instances that you have to communicate things that that's not prefer. And maybe the budget this year was less than last year, or maybe the person from a performance standpoint didn't perform as well as they thought that they did. And so some of those messages is clear is kindness. Sometimes that doesn't always mean the conversation is the way the person wants it to go. But if you're clear and very open, have that openness in the conversation, I think that's really a lot can be what it's about is creating an openness to have the conversation and not avoiding it. That's what people I see a lot of the times do that.
Yes.
It's I'm not saying it's not tough. It's tough, but
Of course it's tough.
avoiding it is actually worse because the person we make up these stories in our own head, right? We kind of fill in the gaps. If you're not clear about the reasoning, the person may kind of make up their own story, which may have nothing to do with the true reasons.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And I think also too the conversation is I want to back our train way up. So everybody listening, this is something Nicole talks about all the time.
Yeah.
We need in going back to the employee life cycle is we need to upfront in the onboarding process, even if the
Mhm.
person never touches a budget, never looks at a budget, we still have to teach people business acumen. If
Absolutely.
if somebody really understands how a business works and you say, "We're not doing so great. Sales are down.
Right. Yeah.
Expenses are the electricity bill went up, whatever. We just don't have the money." And here's the thing, if people understand how a business works, they'll be like, "Well, how can I help?
Absolutely.
What could we do to get sales? Let's turn off the light in the bathroom." Whatever the things have to
Yes.
be. People can help you. And then once we're back in the black, we're back in business here, then the leader can rally and pay you a portion of what we've done to change things. So
Yeah.
I just think business acumen's a big part of compensation. People understand if the stock is down, we can't give huge raises.
Yeah. And people want to. That's the thing is
Right,
not only
right.
that, they want to. I don't know anyone without that openness and conversation. They want to do those things. What can I do on my end? And I think it's about some level of vulnerability as a leader, right? Is being vulnerable
100%.
enough to have that conversation that you may not want to have. But with that vulnerability, I think you can get down to a lot of it is they would more readily understand, hey, we can't give these this year. And then they know the reasoning why. Doesn't mean they like it. Doesn't mean,
Oh, no.
but
Right.
they understand it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think understanding the profit and loss statement,
Yeah.
teach
Yeah.
it to everybody. Okay. All right. Let's talk about AI for a second
Oh,
because
yes.
I'm assuming everybody and their brother is going to Chat GPT and saying, we have 500 employees and I'm promoting this person to manager and they've got
Yeah.
this kind of experience. What should I pay them? I mean, like, you need to have a little more background than that.
Yeah.
But I think probably AI could be helpful. What are you doing? Where do you see it helping compensation
Yeah.
professionals and where is the human Brenna brain always going to
Yeah.
be needed?
So I would say, which I think anybody would say this with any advice, if you don't know what you're putting in and can't replicate it outside of the application, don't use it. Don't use it as the final decision making mechanism. Use it as a tool, just like anything else. It should be used as a tool, not the decision maker. So that's something with any good advice. And then if you can't validate what you're putting in, that what it's spitting back out, meaning if you're not able to replicate it outside, you can't check if it's doing the calculations correctly, right? So that's what I would say is just to be mindful of that is that AI is kind of structured to give you an answer regardless if it's the right one. So just
Right.
be just be mindful of that. I found it very useful to in terms of making work. Remember how you said upskilling and making us do more important work? So I think
Yes.
that it's helped make things more efficient, and I love to use it for things like job descriptions or things
Yes. Yes.
wordsmithing. Love to use it for all that. I use it for a lot of
Hmm.
different communication things. Sometimes it can help you if you can write this, how you write this script, or when I say script, I'm meaning what words you use in what order and what you're asking for the output to be. So I think that's probably one of the most important things that you're asking it to do, what you want the output to be. So the input that you're putting in is going to reference or influence how good your output's going to be when you're using AI. But I use it a lot of for that. I think for ideation, it's good for like, for instance, hey, I have this job title. I would love to have some different options and maybe different alliterations of what it could be. And so you may not use the final output, but it may give you some insight or ideas. So I kind of using it for that. Those are the types of things that I've been using it for.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I do the same thing. But
Yeah.
it's the quality of the prompts. It's the
Right.
quality of the
Exactly.
prompts. It's the quality of the prompts. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's touch on this quickly. So you also do change management. So
Yes.
you've got like a cool little toolbox, right? Whenever organizations reorganize jobs, redesign
Mhm.
career ladders, change compensation structures, what mistakes do leaders make with the people side of change? Ooh,
Mhm.
we don't have time for
We
this
don't have a lot
question.
of we don't have it, I know to go through all of that, right?
Right?
What I would say is that I think it's all about the communication and the beforehand because I think what they discount is like by the time the leader gets to making the decision, they've been marinating in these decisions for 3, 6 months, sometimes a
Yes.
very, very long time.
Yes,
So I
yes.
think what they have a blind spot sometimes is that when by the time you're communicating the associate, they're just now at the table. So they're just hearing it for the first time. So you've got to give them some time to process it. You have to make a structure around the communication where it's not just communicated one time, but multiple times where the person's able to accept it. I also think it's important a lot of times leaders they have this such strategic mindset and vision of an organization, but the associate may need something to walk away with. How's this going to affect me personally? What's this look like for me? I understand the vision, but how's this going to make my job different? What's this look like? And so I think having visuals and a plan for how it's going to look and affect their work is really important. And it gives the person a roadmap, right? Giving the person a roadmap of what it's going to look like.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. So I have this coaching methodology called Shine.
Perfect. I love that.
Yeah. And so we're going to go into our Shine segment now. So if every CEO in America truly understood one thing about compensation, and this is all about leading with clarity,
Mhm.
what would you want it to be?
Oh, that's good. Maybe it would be to think about just what I think probably back when we talked about the compensation philosophy is maybe
Yes.
defining what you want that to be for the organization and also communicating it. I think that's the biggest, defining it and then communicating what it is. And then everyone kind of understands it, or generally speaking, would understand it. Yeah.
Yeah. And since we have been talking, because we had a previous conversation, now we're having this conversation.
Yeah.
I'm like, that should be in the handbook.
Yes, I agree.
I have
Yeah.
never read a handbook where it said, here is our leadership compensation strategy
Yeah.
or our philosophy.
Yeah.
That's not, I think it's a game changer. Okay.
I do.
All right. So SHINE, let's go through the letters. It's an acronym. The S stands for self awareness. How should leaders think differently about compensation?
I think that they should realize it's not the only motivation and motivator. And while it is one piece, a lot of times, not all times, a lot of times when people are misaligned or maybe emotional or not happy with the outcome, it honestly is a lot, most of the time, not to do actually with the compensation itself. It's something surrounding it, like career progression or how they feel valued or their perception may be misaligned. I think so I would say it's more than just about the numbers.
Okay. All right. So the H in SHINE stands for habits. What habits separate excellent compensation leaders from average ones?
A lot of times it's so easy to get in a silo, right? It's so easy to get in your little silo and box and not understand other people's perspective is because it's about data, right? It's about data and numbers. And I would say almost any person I've ever, it's all about benchmarking, right? We benchmark everything. Everything's benchmark.
Benchmark to death.
Yeah, exactly. But that doesn't, I think the people that it affects personally, they don't care about the benchmarks, right?
No.
They don't care about the
Benchmark, schminchmark.
yeah, exactly. Like, how's this affect me? What's in it for me? So I think it's
That's right.
about tying those things together is what I would say.
Okay. All right. So the I in SHINE stands for integrity. How do you maintain fairness while balancing budgets?
Mhm. I think some of it is around transparency, right? Like, meaning
Yes.
if the budget is less this year, you probably need to tell people that up front, and maybe they it's going to change how they're going to approach what they receive or not, right? Because let's say a few years ago when everything was the economy and the job market was a little different, they may have been able to give a higher increase than maybe, okay, this year is tough for us, it has to be less. If you don't communicate what's going on, the person is going to say, what did I do wrong? Why is it different than it was before? What's behind this? And so I think it's a lot about communication, openness, transparency, right?
Absolutely. Okay. The N in SHINE stands for next right step. What is one thing every HR leader, no matter what role they're in, should improve this week?
Oh, I love this one. Empathy. I would say empathy. Yeah.
Yeah. Figure out what shoes you're trying to understand across from you. All right.
Yeah.
Energy is the E in SHINE. How do you stay energized in a profession that often involves difficult conversations? How do you take care of Brenna?
Yes. Oh, I would think it's really about integrating things that invigorate you as a person and about giving back to your soul, like in some ways, right? And so I think for me, it's different things. I love being outside. I love being with my kids, playing with it. So I think it's about integrating those things and things that you love and also stepping back. Sometimes even when things are hard, is that stepping back to understand why you're doing it. Is you're doing well for me personally, a lot of times it's about the people, right? You're doing it for the people. You're doing it because you want to do the right things. You want to make a difference. And so I think it's about almost revisiting your own values, right? How's that aligned?
Yeah, very good. Very good. Okay. So we're at the very end. We're going to have our rapid fire round with
Okay.
Brenna. Okay. Brenna Fitzsimmons. Are you ready?
I'm
Okay.
ready.
All right. One word that describes great leadership.
Gosh. Integrity, I would say.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
Oh, definitely coffee.
Okay. Me too. All right.
Yeah.
Spreadsheet or whiteboard?
Ooh, probably spreadsheet. I know I'm a spreadsheet person.
Okay. Favorite business book of all time?
So probably Dare to Lead. I'm a Brene
Mm,
Brown fan, love her. So yeah.
so good. Okay. One leadership lesson you got you'll never forget.
See, that's a good one. I think it's about understanding what's important to people. That's what I would say. Yeah.
Okay. All right. What is the most rewarding compensation project you ever worked on?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think it was one that I did where there was no structure. So I love where the part where you create structure and ranges and make it all nice and neat and easy to understand. So I think for me that was probably the most fun.
Okay, we'll bring it home with this final question. One thing every employee misunderstands about their pay.
This is gonna sound silly enough that a lot of times it's not personal, right? I mean, that can be tough to understand because it's personal to the person, right? If the organization is doing it correctly. So let me just say that if they're doing the right things equitably across, they're doing it for fairness. Yeah.
That's fantastic. All right, very good. All right, Brenna, it's been so good to hang out with you. I loved
Yes.
meeting you a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, you gotta come on the show and talk about compensation. And you were so generous to give us an hour of your life. If people wanted to find out about you, where do they find you? How do they get up with you?
Yeah. So look for me on LinkedIn. I'm under Brenna Fitzsimmons on LinkedIn. And so you'll find me there. And I'm on various boards and different organizations. And I also have my own coaching and consulting company called Infinite Possibilities. So you can just imagine kind of where my mind was with that. So yeah, so thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, everybody. It's been another amazing episode of the Build a Vibrant Culture podcast. And so, do us a favor. Will you just take a hot second, go to the bottom, click, and leave a love note for Brenda and myself? We need encouragement. I'm just saying, doesn't everybody? All right. Good to be with you,
Thank you
Brenda.
so much.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.